All right, folks, get ready for another hot day here. Thanks so much for joining us at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Iranpour. We do have team coverage for you today. Dana Marie McNichol tracking the possible rolling blackouts. Chris Grow breaking down what to do if you lose power. But we're going to start with Evan for a check of that forecast. What can we expect now, Evan?
Another hot day ahead for San Diego County. It looks like those temperatures are going to be heating up easily into the triple digits for our inland valleys this afternoon. Along the coastline, we're likely going to be a few degrees warmer than yesterday. Yesterday, San Diego made it to a high of 86 degrees. Today, downtown could make it to 90, but for the most part, we're going to stay in the upper 80s out there. 101 is an average for this afternoon across your inland valleys, but some spots like El Cajon could easily warm to 104 degrees as your forecast high. The mountains sticking with mostly upper 80s, 107 out there for the deserts. Heat lasts all the way through Friday, today, tomorrow, and Friday. And then Friday afternoon and evening, we start to see the arrival of what will be a post-tropical cyclone. Right now, it's Hurricane K, but it will break down as it makes its way up towards us. And as it breaks down, we'll see the remnants of it. Some showers, some thunderstorms in the forecast for this upcoming weekend, but it'll take some time to get to us, right? That's Saturday and Sunday mainly that we're watching that wet weather on the screen. So for today, for tomorrow, as well as Friday, that excessive heat warning remains in effect. And you're being asked, of course, to conserve power in the wake of it. So facing the possibility of those rolling blackouts yet again. And our state's power grid could hit another all-time record high. It comes as a flex alert is happening today for the 8th day in a row. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol has more on that end of it. On today's 8th day, Dana Marie, this is, of course, yet another instance of people saying that the stress on the power grid is going to be tremendously high.
Oh, absolutely, Evan. I mean, the flex alert means that they're asking you to conserve energy between the hours of 4 and 9 p.m. because of how much stress is on our power grid right now, especially because of so many air conditionings running at the same time. Now, if you were on your phone around 5:45 last night, like I was, you would have gotten an emergency alert from the governor's office asking you to conserve. And after that happened, we're actually being told it reduced the overall power usage in California. So it did really make a difference. Now, we spoke to the chief executive at Ohm Connect. That's a free service that actually rewards you for saving energy. And here's what he had to say.
So it's a bit of this vicious cycle where, like, the heat itself causes people to use more electricity, and then the heat also, like, makes the grid itself a little bit less efficient.
Now, in the event of a need for a rolling blackout, here's how to find out if your power will be shut off. SDG&E has a list of all of the areas it serves on their website. Now, the list is in order of which circuits it would turn off first. SDG&E says it would begin cutting power from first half a dozen circuits listed on that list. Those circuits would be without power for about an hour, and the next set of circuits would follow. Now, of course, the need for these outages all come back to supply and demand. Today marks the 8th day of flex alerts. They're meant to encourage people to voluntarily conserve energy and avoid those blackouts. Now, of course, if those blackouts happen, you do want to be prepared. That's where we have Chris Grow. He's in the newsroom to break down everything that you should have in terms of potential blackouts. Chris?
Yeah, good morning, DMC. And just taking a look at our phone right now, we know that El Cajon going to be hot, about 104 degrees. So if you are living in this area out here in the East County, then you're going to want to make sure that you're paying attention, because while that level 3 alert went off yesterday, we saw that a lot of people went ahead and conserved energy. It's still potentially a possibility today. We could still potentially see blackouts, especially after the iOS went ahead and said that our projected use still goes ahead and says that we could still be seeing a similar forecast in terms of usage, which could trigger similar alerts. So take a look at your screen right there. You can see a number of tips in hand there, starting with food. You're going to want to make sure that you're freezing water ahead of time. Put that in your fridge in case the power goes off, and then limit how much you open up your fridge. Then make sure to turn off and unplug electrical appliances or any equipment. You can also keep flashlights in reach and don't use candles because those can cause fires. And anything that you may need to charge, including your phone, make sure you get that done. Make sure your phone is charged, because when that power goes out, you won't be able to turn that back on once that hits 0% battery. Now, we went around El Cajon yesterday because not only was it so hot, but it was on top of the list for SDG&E to have those potential rolling blackouts, to talk to folks here about how they would react. Take a listen to what they had to say.
We checked into a hotel. So if we have to do that, we were going to do it over the day weekend, but the prices, the cost of staying in a hotel shot up. Yeah, it's hard on the pets. It's really, really hard if you don't have air conditioning.
Now, of course, there are a number of things that you can do to prevent, or not only to conserve energy, to try to do your part to prevent the blackouts, but also to prepare in case those blackouts do occur. You can go to our website, CBS8.com, click on that story link for more tips. Eric and Netta.
Chris Grow reporting live. Thank you for that, Chris. And today, 3 schools at Poway Unified will have minimum days because of ongoing air conditioning issues. They include Midland Elementary, Bernardo Heights Middle School, and Rancho Bernardo High School. Midland gets out at noon today, Bernardo Heights gets out at noon today and tomorrow, and Rancho Bernardo High gets out at 1:15 today and tomorrow. The district says a newly installed chiller just couldn't handle all this heat, and the AC stopped working. So a second chiller is set to be installed. Well, new numbers this morning. Around 200 people needed medical attention due to the heat during the first Aztecs football game at Snapdragon Stadium on Saturday. SDSU Athletic Director J.D. Wicker says between 10 and 20 people were taken to the hospital. Many fans pointed out the stadium design lacked shade. Wicker says they tried to help fans out by handing out water and cups of ice.
Seeing it was hot, we put some things in place, and going forward, if we know we're going to run into something like that, we now have a plan for what it looks like when it's 100 degrees at 12:30.
Yeah, in fact, CBS 8 morning viewer Marianne just messaged me to say her friend passed out from the heat and people were leaving the game to get shade. She questions why a new stadium didn't take protection from hot days into account. By the way, 100 degrees was the hottest game time temperature of any game in Aztecs history, home or away.
This morning, the deadly Fairview fire in Riverside County continues to grow. So this one is now 4,500 acres, just 5% containment. More people have also been ordered to evacuate as so many homes are threatened. Look at the damage done there. This fire started Monday afternoon. It was in Hemet. 2 people have died. 1 other person is in the hospital with serious burns. All schools in Hemet Unified will remain closed today. Meantime, here at home, the Caesar fire in Ramona. This one is fully contained this morning, so good update there. This started Monday afternoon. Fire crews stopped the forward spread within 2 hours after it had burned just 50 acres. So nobody got hurt in that. All those evacuation orders were lifted pretty quickly there. Let's send it over to Evan now, as obviously for firefighters, they're dealing with such terrible conditions trying to fight fires in this heat.
Yeah, and it looks like wind is also going to pick up toward the end of this week associated with all that wet weather that will be making its arrival around Friday night and into Saturday. So with high wind and hot temperatures, those are, of course, factors that firefighters are especially concerned about. We've talked about what the forecast looks like for this afternoon, but I want to specify a couple of the cities themselves, compared to the average for the region. So across your inland valleys, while the average may be 101 degrees, areas like Santee and El Cajon could easily warm up to 104 this afternoon as that forecast high. 98 for La Mesa, 94 for San Ysidro, 95 in Mira Mesa. These afternoon highs are way above where they normally would be, including along the coastline even. When we encounter those 80s, average for this time of year would be 78 degrees. So even where we find the relief, a high of 80, for example, in Encinitas, obviously much cooler than a high of 103 in Escondido. That sea breeze is encouraging, but across the county as a whole, we've got that excessive heat warning just because of how hot it is for us as the entirety of the county warms up. 91 for Julian, 100 for Alpine this afternoon, 105 for Borrego Springs. We look at watches, warnings, and advisories across the western U.S., and we see them all related to heat and low humidity. Fire weather warning up around the inland northwest. This goes for eastern Washington, North Idaho, Montana, all that red on your screen. The orange on the screen is a heat advisory that lasts all the way through 8 p.m. today, and then the pink on the screen through a good portion of California and southern Nevada. That's the excessive heat warning that we here in San Diego are seeing in effect. Again, all the way through your Thursday at 8 p.m. It's been reduced in its timing. However, Friday is still expected to be an especially hot day out there. Following this heat, we're going to be seeing the arrival of a post-tropical cyclone, the remnants of it, and those remnants are going to bring us cooler temperatures, showers, thunderstorms, all in the realm of possibility as we head into your Friday night, your Saturday, and your Sunday. It's going to be particularly heavy for the mountains and deserts, but along the coast and inland, we could see a decent amount of precipitation coming our way in anticipation for wave heights increasing with the arrival of this post-tropical cyclone. We'll have a beach hazard statement that will take effect Friday and last through Saturday, basically suggesting you stay out of the water unless you're a very experienced surfer or swimmer. But things are going to start to increase as far as your wave height goes toward the end of the week and into the weekend. And then, of course, we'll start to see that wet weather appear. Already across the Baja Peninsula, thanks to currently Hurricane K, we have a tropical storm watch and a tropical storm warning there on the screen. As far as traffic goes, no major crashes or collisions this morning. We'll keep you up to date if we see anything updated on our screen. You can head to our website, cbs8.com, for more.